Hey you guys, it's your boy Davion. Welcome to my channel, and we're here to talk about the TMZ interview featuring the one and only Kanye West. If you guys are interested, then stay tuned. Now I'm going to be blatantly honest because you guys know we don't do the bias thing here. We also are free thinkers. We're going to tear them down and then we're going to build them back up again. First of all, blacks not caring about blacks until they are gunned down by white hands is definitely a statement that I have a issue with. As ignorant of a statement as it is, because it's a very untrue statement for one. It's completely untrue. It's a lie. It's not for real. Black people do give a good goddamn, and black people rally all the time with their legislators, with the governors of their cities to do something about the crime in their neighborhood, to do something about the crime in their communities. Activism is a personal decision. Everyone in this world is not an activist, and everyone in this world is not going to be an activist. The same way that ministers and preachers are called to leadership within religion. Activism is a personal call. Now, as everyday civilians, people have their ideas about what's right and what's wrong and have their own moral compasses, but that doesn't necessarily make you an activist because you have a moral compass. The difference between the outcry and the outpouring of black people we see when there are bodies slain down at the hands of the law versus those parades and those marches and those conversations, phone calls, emails, and letters that we're not privy to from black people about black crime that happens within their communities, is that, for one, I as a black man have a right to see two niggas beating the hell out of each other in the middle of the street without breaking up that fight and continuing on toward my home. That is a personal choice on whether I want to intervene and separate these two black people or whether I want to just mind my own goddamn business and make sure that I get home in one piece. Now, me standing up to the law is an entirely different scenario because the law doesn't have a personal choice in who it should provide justice to and who it should not. The law is obligated because of all of our taxpayers' dollars to protect and serve the communities at hand and at fucking large, because we don't pay the law to be biased. We pay the law to be what it is. The law is black, is motherfucking white. There is no middle. The law does not get to decide whether it intervenes. If the law is summoned, it has to reprimand, protect, investigate that criminal activity. We paint this broad fucking stroke over every goddamn thing, and we say really acidine, ignorant shit, thinking that we sound so intelligent, thinking that we sound so convicting and convincing, and we sound like fucking idiots. As long as my tax-paying dollars pay for the law to protect me, the law will be held to the cross in doing just motherfucking that. Whether some stranger in the community or some other person who is my peer and who is just a regular civilian wants to intervene in a situation and play hero is a personal choice to the pedestrian, to the civilian. But when it comes to the law does not get to be biased. And that's why black people will galvanize in numbers and say, look, bitch, whether we are going to fight for our own or not, what we all know is that you as the United States of America have a constitutional obligation to serve and protect. That is your constitutional fucking obligation, period. Now, I'm gonna play devil's advocate because I know what some of you guys are trying to communicate when you make that statement that we don't fight for our own, but it's not fucking true. It only paints a more damaging narrative about black people, which only reinforces the injustices that black people face by white America, and it's problematic. And even I have been guilty of making those type of statements in the past, and I have made those statements from a place of wanting black people to get accountable. But regardless, the shit isn't fucking true. And it will never again come out of my mouth of fucking again because I know better. The next problematic thing I had with this fucking interview is when Kanye West was defending himself, talking to the black guy at TMZ, and he said, why can't a black influential rapper talk to the President of the United States in an attempt to get the President to understand the plight of the minority, to get the President to understand the plight of African Americans. Nothing is wrong with that, Kanye. The issue is your intent may be well, and that may be in fact what you actually have done in aligning yourself with the President. Your method is what fucks you up every single time. You can have a conversation with Donald Trump, but when you're wearing the memorabilia, Make America Great Again, and you know what that memorabilia and those symbols and emblems mean to your community, you know that when they see the hat and they see you sitting next to Donald Trump in a selfie, that they don't understand anything about the context of that image other than assuming that you are aligning yourself with somebody who does not have the best interest of the black community at heart. Now, had you not worn the hat, still took the selfie, and then captioned that fucking picture accordingly, informing your community about what you are attempting to do through your association with Donald Trump, would make everything that you're saying and preaching and standing up for more receptive to your community. But you didn't take that route. See, Kanye West, I feel like you're in two places at one fucking time. I believe that you mean well, but I also know that you are a attention whore like your wife, so you know exactly what you do. And I know that as an artist, you are going to have methods to your madness. So I get creating publicity in order to sell a point. You're going to bring attention to yourself, even if it's negative attention, in order to get people to focus on what you're going to say once they focus upon you. I fucking get it. But I want you to know that you don't have to play those games with the minds and the emotions of black people and with your followers and with your supporters, because black people are actually in a position now to actually hear the good news. We don't need to be baited and tricked into the goddamn good news. So you can talk openly and vulnerably to us without having to trick us into the conversation. Black people are losing their lives every fucking day to the bullshit. And we don't have time for you to be creating smoke and mirrors and bells and goddamn whistles just to get a conversation with us that we were willing to have if you would just open your fucking mouth. Just start talking. Black people are having the conversations about racism and colorism and anti-blackness. Black people are creating channels and media to bring light to these fucking issues. Black people are all up in the motherfucking stew now. So the next time you want to have a conversation with black folk, with your own black people, just know that you can come as you are, baby. We don't need all the motherfucking games, because you play the game to get us there, and I motherfucking get it. But this was time wasted, because now we having to unpack you being next to this nigga. Now we having to unpack and react to that bullshit instead of being able to just focus on what you had to say from the jump, without all of that as a buffer, without all of that as an intermediary. This message of free thinking. I get what you're saying, Kanye West, with free thinking. You are absolutely motherfucking right. Motherfuckers are not thinking for themselves any goddamn more. Everybody is bullied into choosing the left or the motherfucking right, and nobody can respect the opinions of those who are opposite of them any fucking more. It creates utter goddamn chaos. Very true. But free thinking is not just the ability to think what you want. Free thinking is about also being able to think critically and intellectually, something that I talked about in my previous video when I commented on your shenanigans. You are telling people to think freely, you are telling people to feel what they want to feel, but you're also not informing people properly. You cannot just encourage people to just start fucking thinking. You have to provide a padding and a guidance so that people are not only thinking, but they're thinking being very informed. They're thinking being very fucking guided properly, because free thinking turns into a utter mess when the mind is just motherfucking open, and open for no reason, for no purpose, with no agenda other than just being wide the fuck open. As it relates to the issues that are going on racially and socially in this goddamn country, it is not enough to tell black people to just think fucking freely. think freely, and then what? You get to be shielded from a lot of the shit that civilians and your peers face at the bottom of the pyramid. You're up at the top of Mount Olympus. You have the bodyguards. You are shielded from the impact of what's going on down below. So it's very fucking easy for you to say, hey, let's not care. Let's all love each other. We need to love each other enough to repent for our fucking sins and to make it right with our brothers and sisters. So who you really should be telling the message of love to is not motherfucking black people. It's white people who need to align their motherfucking selves with love. It's white people who need to repent for their fucked up ass history and this fucked up ass system that they fucked up ass forefathers created to continuously oppress the daughters and the sons of those fucking slaves, which are me and you to fucking day. Black people don't come out in the numbers to hurt white people. Black people don't protest against things that would disenfranchise the white community. But the white community certainly makes it its motherfucking business to protest and to vote in ways that disenfranchise the minorities within this goddamn country. So if anybody needs to be receiving the message of love and kumbaya, you need to be standing on a black mountain and telling that to a white audience. Now, Kanye West has a point in terms of this love thing in regards to there has to be a middle ground. Because at the end of the day, regardless of how mad we all are and all of the horrific shit that our forefathers have gone through in this country and what we still today experience as systematic racism, there's going to have to be a meeting of the minds and a coming together between the good white people of America and black people. None of us are getting rid of each other. White people going to have their ass here. Black people going to have their ass here. When black people have overcame the social and economic oppression, then we can get to healing and possibly mending relationships with the better half of white America, who does try to combat their white privilege, who does try to stand up and do the right thing, who do align themselves and be an ally into the black community and try to emphasize and bring highlight to the needs, the desires, and the wants of black people. Those white people do not deserve to get lost in the sauce with all their other racist ass counterparts. We got to do better, and we have to change these motherfucking laws. If black people want to stay mad with white people for the rest of their lives, that is black people's fucking business. All I give a fuck about as a black man is making sure that the law does its goddamn job. I don't care if black people don't want to sit next to white people and if white people don't want to sit next to black people. What I care about is a economic and power structure within this country that permits the power and the resources to be distributed equal amongst the people of this country. That the law fights equally on behalf of people without racial and gender biases. What I care about is the actual foundation, which are the laws and rights that we create in this country, being executed in the way that the law says it will execute. I don't care about this personal, do you like me as a white person? Do you like me as a black person? Could give a fuck motherfucking less who likes who. Bitch, make sure that I get paid equally. Make sure that I'm protected equally. Make sure that I'm afforded opportunities to excel equally. Just make sure, bitch, that I'm equal in the ways that will actually benefit my fucking life. I could give a fuck less whether black people like white people and whether white people will like black people. What I want is the motherfucking structural black and white objective ass law above to work the way that it was intended to motherfucking work. I'm out of this bitch. You guys can rate, share, comment, and hit the notification bell if you motherfucking want to. I'm gone. Bye.